Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, prisoner escapes custody at a court. A prisoner made a daring escape from the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court during a routine appearance on Thursday. The individual, who was brought to court on a bench warrant, fled the courtroom, triggering an immediate response from law enforcement. The escape took place in the downstairs section of the courthouse, where the prisoner, whose identity has not yet been disclosed, took advantage of the moment to dash out. Members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force quickly gave chase and successfully apprehended him just a few meters away on Maxfield Avenue. The swift action by the officers ensured that the situation was contained and the fugitive was returned to custody without a further incident. Tattoo artist charged with a rape of 12-year-old girl. The Maypen Criminal Investigations Branch has following an incident in Clarendon on Monday. The accused, Ramon Russell, is from Osborne Store, Clarendon, and the Trinity District in Porous, Manchester. The police say that about 4:30 p.m. the student was walking home when she met Russell and they began talking. Shortly after, he reportedly lured her to his nearby tattoo shop and committed the crime. He reportedly also threatened the child before allowing her to leave. She reportedly told her mother what happened, and a formal report was made to the police. The police went to the scene of the crime and arrested and charged Russell. Committal hearing for mother who allegedly threw baby off rooftop rescheduled. The committal hearing for Shamoya Green, the woman accused of throwing her baby daughter off a rooftop to her death last December, has been rescheduled to September 30 in the St. James Parish Court. Presiding Parish Judge Natisha Fairclough Hilton set the new date during Thursday's court sitting, as the arrangement for the hearing, which was expected to take place on Thursday via the online Zoom platform, were not in place. The hearing date when Green's case will be transferred to the St. James Circuit Court was also set, despite the revelation that a documented assessment of a child witness has not yet been completed. The witness was said to be present when Green, who is charged with the murder of 5-month-old Destiny Brown, reportedly threw the child off the roof of their family home. The trial hearing was previously scheduled for Thursday's date to facilitate Green, who the court was told could not be safely transported from Kingston, where she is currently being held in custody due to medical issues, which include seizures. Green was also previously deemed unfit to plea due to mental health challenges. Allegations are that on December 6, 2023, about 5:35 p.m., Green was at home with her common-law husband and other family members when she tried to have a conversation with the man about their relationship. However, he put off the talks to later that evening. Green reportedly became enraged and left the room, taking Destiny with her. She then allegedly took the child to the roof of the 3rd floor of the family's house and threw her onto a concrete pit in the yard. The police were alerted and the baby was taken to the hospital, where she died while being treated. Security guard charged with 3 counts of murder. A security guard of Sandy Close at Manly Meadows in Kingston is now facing multiple charges following the alleged shooting death of 3 people in the parish last year. He has been identified as 31-year-old Lamar Leachman. Leachman is charged with 3 counts of murder, wounding with intent, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and the possession of a prohibited weapon. Reports are that about 9:50 a.m. on Monday, October 16, 2023, a group of men were sitting on a section of Bree Street when men armed with handguns exited a vehicle and opened gunfire at them. Several of the men were reportedly injured and the gunmen escaped in the waiting motor car. The police were summoned and the injured men were assisted to hospital, where 3 of them died on arrival. An investigation was carried out and the Leachman was arrested and subsequently charged on Wednesday, September 25, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. A court date for Leachman is being finalized. Vendor hit with a $15,000 fine accuses municipal officer of targeting her. A woman who was caught applying her wares in an unauthorized location cried uncontrollably in court on Wednesday after being fined $15,000. Yvonne Bryan, who appeared to be in her late 60s or early 70s, was taken before the St. James Parish Court for allegedly displaying merchandise for sale in a prohibited area. The exact date of the offense was not disclosed, but the court was informed that Bryan was seen exhibiting her products on St. James's Street rather than her designated location on Church Lane. "Imatek said Pami," Bryan blurted out as the court clerk apprised the court of the allegations. "I was not selling that day. I sat down and put the bag in the Chinaman's place because rain was falling, and the officer went inside there and took it out," said a visibly upset Bryan. The judge then asked the accused woman where she would have placed the bag if it was not raining, and she said she would have put it in the lane where she sells. "Why are you selling in the lane?" Presiding Judge Natisha Fairclough Hilton asked. "Your Honor, I paid $10,000 to sell there," said Bryan. At that point, the municipal officer informed the court that this was Bryan's first appearance in court for the specific offense. He went on to say that she had in fact paid $10,000 for accommodation on Church Lane, which is a designated area for vendors. Nonetheless, the officer pointed out that Bryan was seen on the sidewalk of St. James's Street. "Are you guilty or not guilty, ma'am?" The judge then asked. "I'm guilty," Bryan replied. "You're fined $15,000 or 10 days in jail," Judge Fairclough Hilton then told the defendant. "Me not have so much money," Bryan told the judge, and then began crying loudly in the courtroom. "Me all and Imatek said pa me, and you are charged me too much money," the accused woman said as she exited the prisoner's dock. Keith Clark's organs were split open by 20 bullets, says a pathologist. Former chief forensic pathologist in the legal medicine unit at the Ministry of National Security, Dr. Denish Rao, said on Wednesday that he received 3 proposals from the Independent Commission of Investigations that possibly explained how accountant Keith Clark was shot dead at his house on May 27, 2010 by members of the Jamaica Defense Force. Based on the evidence he assessed, he accepted the third one. Dr. Rao was given testimony via video link in the Home Circuit Court murder trial of 3 soldiers in downtown Kingston. The soldiers on trial are Lance Corporals Greg Tinglin and Odell Buckley, as well as Private Arnold Henry for the shooting death of Clark. Said Dr. Rao, the third proposition was that Mr. Clark was shot while he was coming down from the top of the closet with his back turned towards the shooter. I was asked to opine on the possible position of the shooter. Of the 3 propositions, number 3 corroborated with the external and internal injuries at the crime scene regarding the position of the shooter. I am of the opinion that a majority of the gunshots entered the left side back region, indicating the position of the deceased. The left side back of the body was facing the shooters, or he turned himself away from the shooters, exposing his left side back or during the maneuvers at the moment of shooting so as to expose the left surface of his back towards the shooters. The deceased was either crouching or bending opposite the shooter. Few of the firearm injuries suggest that he could have been shot after or during the process of his fall on the floor, Dr. Rao said. The first proposition put to the doctor by Indicom that Clark was shot while he was lying on top of the closet inside the master bedroom of his house at 18 Kirkland Close in Kirkland Heights, St. Andrew, and pointing a gun at the shooters. The second proposition was that the now deceased accountant was shot after he had fallen to the ground from atop the closet and was reaching for his licensed firearm. Dr. Rao rubbished both the first and the second propositions. The pathologist said he had received a request from Indicom on December 8, 2010 to provide his expert opinion. Dr. Rao told the court that there were in total 25 injuries to the body of Clark, which were from gunshots. He said 20 of those injuries were fatal injuries, while the other 5 were non-fatal injuries. Dr. Rao said he took 3 things from Clark's body. We took clothes, bullet fragment, and a piece of sternum. The sternum is the center bone in the front of the chest between the ribs. After removing these items, it was handed over to the police. The conclusion I came to was that death was due to traumatic shock as a result of extensive lacerations of lungs, heart, intestines, and the left kidney due to multiple gunshot wounds to the back involving chest and abdomen. Because of the multiple gunshots, the organs inside the chest cavity and the abdomen were destroyed or were extensively damaged or split open because of the bullets and because of shock waves and the splinters associated with the bullets, he said. Clark was killed during a police military operation which was aimed at capturing then fugitive drug lord Christopher Dudus Coke, who was allegedly camping out and hiding inside the basement at Clark's house with around 7 heavily armed henchmen. It is alleged during the operation, the gunmen challenged the security forces to a fierce gun battle before escaping in a heavily forested area to the back of the premises. Clark, who was inside his house along with his wife and a teenage daughter, was shot dead as he allegedly attempted to come down from the top of his closet. The argument put forward by the defense was that Clark pointed his licensed firearm at the soldiers and possibly shot at them, which prompted them to return gunfire. The trial continues on Monday. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.